Hey, it's Atheist Guy here. So, I got a comment recently from a person called nodogyougay48. Apologies if I said that wrong, but it appears to be that. He proposed the very simple challenge of please tell me how everything was made. This should be fun. To make it a little bit more interesting, I've decided that I won't make any notes, I won't do any research. However, this does mean that chances are I will get something wrong. However, I decided to challenge myself to this just to see if I could do it. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Beginning, we have nothing. Because I know a lot of creationists like to say, oh, everything came from nothing. We start off with a singularity which has no physical dimensions. That does not, however, mean there is nothing, because it contains all the energy and matter of the universe as we know it today. So that's not nothing. That's everything. Then we have the Big Bang, which was 13.73 billion years ago, something like that. And we have a massive expansion of space-time. So, and don't take from Big Bang that there was an explosion. It is, as I said, a massive expansion of space-time. This rapidly sort of decelerates, and we have a continually expanding universe today. There used to be a theory that, I think it was called the rubber band theory, also known as the Big Crunch, that the universe would eventually get to a point where it expanded so far and then it would collapse. And with the rubber band theory that was expanded to, then it would go out and it would just keep doing this forever. By saying there was like 13.7 billion years ago there was the Big Bang, before that, whether or not we want to say that time existed is irrelevant, because before that, existence was in a totally different way. It is not in any way that we can comprehend. So it's, and I think the way Stephen Hawking put it was, we may as well say that time began with the Big Bang. So moving on from there, 500,000 years later, we have the first light. Magic. So first light, with the first stars in the universe. The universe starts off very, very simply. I think it's something crazy like 98% of it was hydrogen, and 2% of it was helium and something else. But the very, very light elements to begin with. Early stars collapse, and in their collapse, heavier elements are formed. So you've got stuff like lead, iron, etc. Being formed. This is spread throughout the early universe into neighbouring nebulas, into neighbouring particle clouds, and then whenever those solar systems form, those stars form, and the planets that surround it, you actually get planets that have in any way a chance of supporting life because they have the necessary elements to do so. So, and this is, we're moving billions and billions of years on. Let's skip that and jump to, I think it's 4.5 billion, between 3.5 and 4.5 billion years ago, but closer to the 4.5 as far as I know. The Earth was formed, and there's sort of a lot of stuff with the moon, but I won't go into that. So the Earth is formed. It starts off pretty much as a molten ball of hot rock. So eventually this starts to cool down, an atmosphere starts to form, weather systems start to form as well, the seas start to form because it rains, and etc. You have a lot of volcanic activity, seismic activity as well, as the crust starts to cool down. So then I think it's somewhere towards, I'm not sure, 2.7 billion years ago maybe, is estimated when first life came into existence. Now, this first life didn't just magically pop in there. First life is defined as self-replicating, I think it's amino acids. So these self-replicating amino acids, which is just a chain of organic compounds which are formed by hydrocarbons, so it's stuff like, well, gives it away really, hydrogen, carbon, and then whether it be oxygen on it or sulfur, something like that. So very simple amino acids that can self-replicate are formed. These combine to create proteins. These proteins then go on to form basic, very basic RNA. RNA is, compared to DNA, crap at replicating accurately, although DNA is in no way perfect either. And then we have the first sort of almost self-sustaining, self-replicating life form. So there's RNA, it creates the first cells. By the way, this is the self-replicating amino acids into proteins, into RNA, into DNA, or first self-replicating cells. That goes on for probably the first billion, if not billion and a half years, if not into 2 billion years possibly. Then we get very basic life forms. So you have like amoebas, stuff like that, very simple multi-celled organisms. And this is all, well, main suggestion is that it's underwater, near underwater volcanoes. So then, because RNA is such a crap replicator, tons of mutations happen, and mutations are pretty much whenever the code of the RNA or the DNA, a mistake is made whenever it's replicated, and this has an adverse effect on its physical qualities, or the physical attributes. So a mutation occurs, it's totally disadvantageous, and either results in the organism being immediately killed, or that it's so disadvantaged that it wouldn't be able to reproduce. So that if that trait dies out, that mutation isn't continued. This is what natural selection is. And then if it's advantageous, and meaning that there's more of these organisms that replicate and pass on this genetic trait or mutation, it's advantageous and it's carried on through, and this is again natural selection. This then goes on to create shellfish, fish. The fish then become amphibians. I've seen it with Kirk Cameron and people like that. They ask, oh well, what would the first fish have been like? Would it have been running in and out until it grew gills? Which is absolutely idiotic. The first fish that would have become an amphibian would have had porous skin in a way that oxygen could transfer. So not only through the water, but then in air as well. And then as this sort of progressed, then it would grow lungs as well, over many generations, of course. So you have your first amphibian, then this progresses on to your first reptile. Reptiles then split between mammals and birds, and you have what we are sort of. So you have every sort of split of dinosaurs, prehistoric. There's mass extinctions, ice ages, stuff like that. So then we get on to, I'm not actually sure when we split from our oldest ancestor, but there are ourselves and bonobo chimps, who are our closest relative, and we came from someone down here in the evolutionary tree. But yeah, at some point we came from the same people. Mutation took us one way and took bonobo chimps the other way, and here we are today, through evolution via natural selection. So I hope that helped. I'm not really sure if I missed out anything. Probably a lot. Actually, yes, definitely a lot. But I hope that helped. If you have any further questions or corrections, comment down below, rate and subscribe. I shall see you guys later. Bye.